You're listening to the British Baseball Podcast. Hello baseball family, I'm Matt and welcome to the British Baseball Podcast, League Roundup. But before we start with today's results, we're just going to share a bit of news. I've got Patrick Knocon from BS UK to tell us a little bit more about the British University College Sports, or BUCS, and what it means for British baseball. And some news in British baseball this week. Baseball and softball have been added to the BUCS programme, which is starting this year. Those who don't know, BUCS is the British University and College Sports. And to tell us a little bit more about this, I've got Patrick Knock from BS UK to tell us a little bit more. Patrick, welcome to the British Baseball Podcast. How are you?
Hi, Matt. I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Excellent. So lead away. What would you like to tell us?
Sure. Well, you've already done one of the useful things is explain what the acronym BUCS is, because there's loads of those in sports development. So yeah, British Universities and Colleges Sport. And you mentioned the really positive news that we had last Thursday. We actually announced it jointly with BUCS that baseball and softball will be becoming part of the BUCS competition programme from the 2020-21 academic year. So that's really exciting news for us, and something we've been striving for a good few years now, and just shows the big leaps forward we've had with growing university baseball and softball. So yeah, that was the news last Thursday, and we now have still a fair bit of work to do, just with making sure that we set the competition structure and get things right for this year, this kind of modified year with the COVID restrictions. But yeah, all round really, really positive news. BUCS, just to give a little bit of background on what BUCS is and who they are. British Universities and Colleges Sport was formed in 2008. It was a merger between the organisation BUSA, who many people will know, kind of the previous iteration of BUCS. That was the British Universities and Sports Association. They merged with Universities and Colleges Sport in 2008 to form BUCS, and essentially they are the governing body for university sport in the UK. So they coordinate and organise around 50 different sports competitions, and baseball and softball are now part of that 50. So yeah, we're really excited to get going with it and join the programme.
That's cool. So does that mean then, say, when I was at college many moons ago, I did a lot of coaching courses and football coaching. Does this now become part of an option you can take when you're at college or university? How does it work?
Yeah, so we already have a number of baseball and softball clubs that have formed particularly over the last 10 years. So in 2009, when we first started making baseball and softball in universities a key area for us, there was around 5 teams, 5 different university teams. We're now at the point where we have around 79 teams across 36 different institutions. So it's grown massively in that 10 years, so much so that we're able to enter the BUCS program. So yeah, if you are a student at a university that already has a baseball and softball club, then that's great. You can kind of seek out that opportunity to play. Most universities still do the fresh affairs, so you'll be able to find out about how you can play the sports at that university. The great thing about us becoming BUCS Sports is that it will prompt universities, we hope, to show more of an interest in setting up a club if they don't already have one. So we're keen to work with universities that want to add baseball and softball to the kind of program of sports that they offer. So yeah, if there's any universities listening, and we're always keen to work with you. So do get in touch. But it just, it will hopefully give us a springboard to grow the number of universities that are playing. So yeah, it's, if you are a student that's joining a university or already at one, then do look out for the club if it already has one, or if you are keen to kind of set one up. We're always very keen to work with students to kind of lobby the university to help create a club, and we can support in lots of different ways with that, whether it be a bit of funding, help with equipment, some coaching to kind of get the wheels in motion and get the club off the ground. So yeah, one of the benefits of baseball and softball being part of the Bucks program is it just, it gives us a springboard, I think, to form more university and baseball clubs.
That's great. And when you're looking to launch this initiative?
So we've been entered into the Bucks competition program from kind of next academic year, so from autumn 2020 this year. As I mentioned earlier, due to COVID, we will be kind of amending the competition program that we had in mind. So what we'd initially planned is that we would have competitions in baseball and softball starting around autumn, kind of October time. And there would be league play in those two sports, a number of kind of game days for softball, starting in autumn and kind of running throughout kind of the new year into the spring. And same with baseball. However, Bucks have said that there won't be any league play until the new year. So we are working with Bucks at the moment just to kind of work out what the new competition structure is going to look like. But there will be Bucks baseball and Bucks softball next academic year, which is great.
Excellent. And where can we go to find out some more information about this?
So there'll be baseball softball UK will be announcing any updates through our BSUK University's Facebook and Twitter page. We'll also be posting news updates on the BSUK website. I think we also plan to kind of revamp our university section on our website to provide updates. We also have a kind of direct communication channel to the students, so the lead contacts at the university baseball and softball clubs, and we'll be updating them as and when we know what the competition structure is going to look like. But yeah, as you probably saw last week with the announcement that we're part of the Bucks program, there was quite a lot of noise on social media, and we had really good positive feedback about the news. So yeah, it was really exciting development for the sports.
Yes, definitely. And that's questions for me. Anything you'd like to add?
Just to kind of go through some of that, I guess, just recognize a lot of the work that's been done over the last, as I say, 10 years from when there was a handful of university clubs to where we are now with nearly 80. So yeah, lots of effort has gone in by all sorts of different people, students, BSUK, Bucks as well, supporting us kind of along the journey to get to this point. So it's a sort of a thank you, I guess, to a lot of those people. I know a lot of people would have kind of wished they were able to play in the Bucks program when they were at university, but a lot of their efforts in setting up their clubs and entering the competitions that BSUK's run over the last kind of 7 or 8 years, them being part of that and setting up their clubs has been key, really, to getting to this point. So I guess I'd like to recognise that and just say that I think it gives us massive opportunities to keep growing the number of people playing baseball and softball at universities, particularly with the Olympics next year. So baseball and softball will be part of Tokyo 2021. So that will give hopefully extra impetus for students to want to take up the sport when they get to university. And now that they know that the sports are part of Bucks, it makes it more appealing. And it just, I think overall, there's going to be a lot more support and profile for the sports, for the university baseball softball clubs that already exist. I think sometimes in the past they've had to kind of fight the fight to get the profile and the support from their universities, but being part of the Bucks program just really helps them in that respect.
Excellent. Well, Patrick, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
No problem. Thanks, Matt.
Cheers. And now let's get into this weekend's results. And we'll start off in the BBF Open Tournament in the NBL division. We had two games that took place. We had the Lancashire Legends versus the London Capitals and the London Mets versus the Essex Arrows. And both of these were double features. So the Lancashire Legends went down 1-9 to the London Capitals in the morning game. And then the London Mets beat the Essex Arrows 11-5 in their morning fixture. And then at the 3 o'clock game, the Lancashire Legends lost 3-13 to London Capitals, with the London Mets holding the Essex Arrows 21-0 in their afternoon fixtures. And the league board there looks like London Mets, the London Capitals, the Lancashire Legends, and then the Essex Arrows. Moving on to the AAA division in the tournament, we have the Essex Redbacks versus the Kent Mariners, which the Redbacks lost 4-8. The London Mammoths beat the East London Latin Boys 9-8. And then in the afternoon fixtures, the Essex Redbacks beat the Kent Mariners 7-4, and the London Mammoths beat the East London Latin Boys 4-3. And their table looks like London Mammoths at the top, with the Essex Redbacks followed by the London Marauders, and then East London Latin Boys at the bottom of their division. Moving on to the AA Central, we had the Sheffield Bruins were awarded both victories over the Leicester Blue Sox because their games were forfeited due to the COVID-19 restrictions around that area. But the two games that did take place yesterday were the Birmingham Bandits versus the Leamington Storm. And to tell us a little bit more of that is the Birmingham Bandits manager, Chris Atkins. And with me now is Chris Atkins, the manager of the Birmingham Bandits, who took on today Long Eaton Storm. Chris, it was your first game in charge today. How was it for you?
It was good. We've been preparing this game for a few weeks now. Been working with the guys on trying to set some lineups, find good cohesion within the group. Some of the guys haven't been playing for more than 6 months now, so it was kind of going in blind. But it was full of ups and downs, but it was a big learning experience.
Awesome. Well, sorry, it's not awesome for you. It was your first game was a 15-4 defeat to Long Eaton Storm.
Yeah.
How was the first game then? Was it a bit jittery?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, we went in knowing that it was Long Eaton, and they're the champions. They're the champions for a reason. So we didn't want to overestimate them or underestimate them. We knew what we were going in, and I think for the most part we played pretty well. We were scoring as much as they would in each inning, but we made a few errors, and they just took advantage of it. And credit to them, they're pretty good at what they do. They just took our errors and just made us pay for it. But ups and unpredicted things, unpredictable with some injury. We had one of our players get injured, Daniel Figueroa, on the base path, and I had to take him out of the game. It's a big blow to the team because he's a pretty valuable player for us.
Yeah, can you imagine? Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. Just his arm fell on it, and he basically couldn't hold the bat at the end. So we just took him out, and I've texted him now. He seems to be doing okay.
Good. Speedy recovery as well. So after the defeat in the first game, it was a double header today. How did you prepare, and what changed your mindset for the second game?
So because there were two 7 innings game, my biggest worry was the pitching. We kept one of our pitchers, Hamad, in for a few innings as a starting pitcher, and just wanted to reinforce the fielding team. So I just wanted to put in more experienced players towards the. Because I noticed that they were Long Eaton was batting really well to the outfield, so I just wanted to get more experienced players on the outfield. It helped us. We had a few good plays by our center fielder Austin, but ultimately didn't not it didn't help us. Again, we did some errors in the second game as well. Very similar to the first game.
Okay. So with the 2 defeats from your belt at the moment, how are you preparing for the next games next week?
We want to get more people within the training, get more live bats during trainings, because I think that the biggest issue, like I'm pretty happy with what I saw. Forgetting the few errors, I think that some plays were really nice. We had a few good double plays. We had people talking to each other. I think we just need to get the bats going. So we're going to work on that during the week, and hopefully get something going next week when hopefully we can play with supposed to be welcoming Leicester next week. But given the current situation, I'm not sure this is going to be a possibility.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it plays out. They should have been playing the Bruins today. I know they've been awarded the 2 victories because of the lockdown situation. But yeah, we'll monitor as it goes. Well, Chris, thank you very much for your time. All the best for the rest of the tournament, and I'll catch you soon.
Thank you, Matt.
Next division we have up is the AA South, which has the Croydon Pirates, which were narrowly beaten by the London Musketeers, and that was 12-14. The Richmond Dragons took on South Coast Pirates in their morning game that ended up 18-5 to the Richmond Dragons. Then in the reverse fixtures, we had the Pirates going 6-0 up against London Musketeers, and then the Richmond Dragons went 21 up against South Coast Pirates, and they won 13. They didn't win, sorry. They scored 13. They lost that game. And their division table looks like Richmond Dragons, the Croydon Pirates, London Musketeers, and the South Coast Pirates. Moving on to the AA Southwest Division, the Bournemouth Bears were beaten by the Rebeldes 0-13 in their first game in the morning. BC Vetera took on the Bristol Badgers and won their game 14-7. And then reverse fixtures there, we also had the Bournemouth Bears beaten once again 4-8 with Rebeldes, and then the BC Vetera edging out the Bristol Badgers 12-4. I'm not sure how edging someone out 12-4 works, but then I'll get a better vocabulary for the next video. So it's the Rebeldes at the top of that division with Vetera. They're both tied 2 games apiece, but they've got a better for and against average. And it's in the Bristol Badgers and the Bournemouth Bears. Moving on to Single A Central is the Bracknell Inferno taking on the Guildford Millers, and also the Brighton Jets versus the Richmond Dukes. In the morning game there, the Bracknell Inferno got beat 9-11 by the Guildford Millers, and also Brighton Jets won their morning game 14-4 against the Richmond Dukes. And in the return fixture of that, we had a 12-10 win for the Bracknell Inferno over the Millers, and then the Brighton Jets ending that one 26-25. And it looks like we thought that it was the Yankees and the Red Sox at London Series that could have high scoring close games, or Brighton and the Dukes there showing us how it's done. And to tell us a little bit more, over some more commentary with Robin Bangery of the Brighton Baseball Club and Rafid Hack of Bracknell Inferno. And joining me from Brighton is the coach, Robin Banerjee. Robin, how are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well indeed, thank you very much. And like most people say, you're experiencing baseball for the first time in a long time. How is it being back on the mound?
It was just fantastic. We were so pleased to be back out there. We've been doing small socially distanced practices over the last month. Today was our first game. It just felt so good to be back out there.
Excellent. And how weird was it getting used to playing with the new social distance measures in place?
It was kind of weird. We made quite a few adjustments as a club in line with the guidance from the BBF and BSUK, but it worked really well, and I think all the members of the club were really respectful of the approach, and that was true for our visiting team, the Richmond Dukes. So we really appreciate their support with it, and we made it work. You know, we weren't doing exactly what we always did in the past. But it was still baseball. That's the main thing. It was still baseball, and we had a really great day of opening day.
Excellent. So, do you want to talk us through your first game?
So our first game, we played the Richmond Dukes, like I said, who came down for the double header. And we came out with a good start, and we ended up with a 14-4 scoreline at the end. It was a great first game. We had good defense, a complete game from one of our pitchers, Reese. He did a really fabulous job, and from beginning to end, we got the job done, and people were working hard in defense. Also, some really great bats and good base running as well. So yeah, it was all around great, great start to the season. We were really delighted.
Excellent. And that was a 14-4 win.
That was a
in the first
14-4 win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a double header, like you said. Then, how did the second game go for you?
Well, the second game started off pretty good. It was looking very similar to the first game in some respects. It wasn't quite as decisive, but we were still, after 5 innings, I think we were still ahead by quite a few runs. But then, you know, baseball teaches you an awful lot of lessons, and one of them is always be ready, right? Because you never know when the wheels are going to fall off the bus, and they for sure fell off the bus for us in the final inning. So this was a 7-inning game, and in the 7th inning, we were ahead by quite a few runs. But like I said, the wheels really fell off the bus, and we had some challenges in the field. We just scoring and use to their credit really hit the ball well. That came alive, and they were just rounding the bases one after the other. It was a really tough experience. So we've all been there, right, with baseball, and we just glad to get out of that inning. By the time we came out of that inning, we were quite a few runs behind, but you know, one of the great lessons baseball is it ain't gonna pass over, and we were able to put that really difficult inning out of our heads and just say, you know what, the game's not over. We've still got a game to play, and we came back and scored a heck of a lot of runs in that last open inning ourselves. And we came out with a look of 26-25.
26-25.
26-25. It was
What a
a
game.
crazy game. But one of those games, you know, like I said, you know, when I think about what we had today, like I said, we had that fantastic complete game from Reese. We had one of our players hitting a towering grand slam over the right field fence. That was amazing to watch. That was Mark Bryant. And then we had one of our new players, young Connor Lloyd, coming up with an absolute cannon from deep left field to throw a runner out at home. That was really magical moment.
Bit Mookie Betts.
And then, yeah, it really was. It was just a laser throw on the money. And then Connor Lloyd actually, it's like the universe was with us in that final inning. Connor Lloyd actually hit the walk-off run, hit the walk-off hit to bring the last run in. So it was just fabulous. And you know, it just shows you, don't give up on a game. Never give up. Never give up on a game. Even when you've had a really tough outing, even when things have gone really bad, you can come out there and compete. And that's what we did. So I'm just really proud of the guys. They did so well today.
Excellent. And congratulations. Robin, all the best for the tournament. And I'll speak to you soon.
Thanks so much.
Yep.
And joining me from the Bracknell Infernos is the outfielder, second baseman, and pitcher, all in his debut game, Rafid Ulhak. Raf, how are we doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you doing yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. What a great way to start off your debut. So, do you want to tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, definitely. I've been training for I think a 1 or 2 months. Just before COVID hit, I sort of met 2 players from the team. One's Fred and one's Aaron, and both of them seem to be having a blast. And I asked what team they're playing for because locally there's no teams in Slough where I live. I had an interest in baseball for some time. However, I just couldn't find any teams to join locally or kind of commit to it fully. But Fred and Aaron, they gave the time of day. Both came down to 1 or 2 sessions with me, just one-on-one, give me an intro to the baseball, helped me understand everything a bit better. And then I ended up joining Bracknell Infernos. Great bunch of lads in there, great team, always having fun, but very competitive as well. Helped me sort of grow into, a better player, I think, overall as well.
Cool. Do you have any butterflies before the game?
Sorry?
Did you have any butterflies before the game? And were you a bit
Uh,
nervous?
no, not really. Maybe actually before my first at bat because the pitcher was throwing a bit faster than I expected. But honestly, with loads of support, I was not worried about making mistakes or errors. I know that the guys, would be there to kind of cheer me on, and the next one I'll just make up for it. So it was a pretty good debut, I say so.
Cool. So you had a double header today as well, and you played the Guildford Millers.
Yeah.
Your first game was an 11-9 victory. That was a close one. Do you want to talk us through it?
Sorry, we lost the 11-9 game.
Oh, sorry, you lost that
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
Yeah, that one we lost. But it was a good game. I think there was some time restrictions, which meant we had to end the game a bit early on the innings. But there was times, I think, especially in the first few innings, the game was swinging back and forth. It was momentum from Guildford to Bracknell, and I think it just came down to one or two innings, crucial moments where the players just meant to, Guildford did a great job, got on base and got the runs in. But it was a good learning experience, I think, for the team, especially because there's a lot of new faces there as well.
Yeah. And you played in outfield in your first game, was it?
Yeah, I played outfield. I think I made it was 2-3 catches in outfield, so it was pretty good. Yeah.
You score any runs?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember how many, but my first at bat was a total strikeout. The strike zone was a bit dodgy, I would say so, but it was a bit, of a freeze moment. But I did get a infield double as well.
Nice.
And it was one. It bounced out of the ground. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, it was pretty close. But I was giving for the big swings, trying to get out of the park.
Good lad. And do you think that defeat spurred you on and lit a fire under you to win the second game 12-10?
Yeah, I think definitely when we lost the first game, we all had about 20 minutes break or so, and we all got together and we thought to ourselves, it was a pretty good game, it was a close game, but we all decided to push ourselves to a further point, and I think that what kind of gave us the edge in the second game.
Yeah, cool. And you tried your hand at pitching in the second game?
Yeah, I've been looking at pitching. I think I enjoy it because it's the one place where you get most of the ball. You're always on the ball, and everything sort of starts from you, and it can end at you as well. It didn't go so well. I'm going to be honest. I did load up about 4 runs, bases loaded, no strikeouts, but it was a good experience. It's something I'd definitely do again sometime, but maybe after some practice.
And what would you say to the folks out there that are thinking of giving baseball a try but haven't yet?
Definitely give it a go. I wouldn't recommend watching games and stuff. It's okay, but it's not as fast paced. It's not as fun as you playing itself. Even if you just pick up a glove or a bat or whatever and go down to your local park, play some catch. I spent hours playing catch with my brother. It's just so addictive. It's just something you can constantly do over and over again.
Excellent. Well, Raf, thank you very much for your time today, and I hope you have a great rest of the season.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
And then moving on to the Single A East, we had 2 games played on Saturday. The London Minotaurs played the London Mustangs. The Minotaurs went down 6-16 in their first game. And then the afternoon game, they also were defeated 2-13. So it's London Minotaurs 6, Mustangs 16, and then the Minotaurs 2, Mustangs 13. And then just over the road on the Sunday, the Essex Archers versus the Forest Glade Redbacks. And the Archers went down 13-17 in their morning game, with the afternoon game being the Essex Archers 19 and the Redbacks 4. So quite a swing there, which means that the Mustangs are the top of their division, with the Archers followed by the Redbacks and the Minotaurs at the bottom. I've got no information at present from the AA East division. All this information has been found on the British Baseball Federation website. So if you want to update your scores or if you want to have a look there for yourself, please head over to their website. In the Single A South, we had the Kent Buccaneers versus the South Coast Sea Dogs, and the Buccaneers won that one 29-3. And in their other fixtures, it was 29-4, which means that the Buccaneers are sitting mightily at the top of that division, with the South Coast Sea Dogs just underneath. The Kent Mariners played the Tonbridge Bobcats, but I'm yet to see a result from there. So as it comes through, I will update. On to the Single A South, Bristol Bats, Bristol Buccaneers, and Taunton Muskets and Western Jets. Again, no information to bring you there at the moment. And as we move to the East of England Baseball League, they had quite a lively set of games too. In game 1, we had the Northants Centurions taking on the Brentwood Stags. That game ended up 5-3. There's a brilliant write-up on this on Facebook if you want to go and search them out and get some more information. Fortunately, I'm pushing a bit of time, so I can't really read it out at the moment, but I'll try and get some people on to talk about their games next week. The Milton Keynes Bucks took on the Cambridge Lancers. That ended up 14-10. The Essex Redbacks beat the Cambridge Royals 17-2. And then in the reverse fixtures of those, the Centurions of Northants were beaten by the Brentwood Stags 3-16. The Bucks won again 20-14, and the Essex Redbacks were beaten by the Cambridge Royals 13-18. And of course, there's no action up in Scotland at the moment, so hopefully we'll get some Scottish baseball soon. I know that they're all training hard up there, and we can't wait to see some scores and some footage from yourselves. And West Midlands Baseball League, they start their games on the 9th. And that's it for this week in baseball in Britain. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know for any feedback. Do you like the format? Would you like to come on as a guest? Get in contact with me via Twitter at BritBaseballPod. It's a mouthful. Should be used to saying that now, 30 odd episodes in. Or you can drop me an email at BritishBaseballPodcast@gmail.com. Always open to feedback. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. Would you like to see this alongside interviews? Would you prefer this instead of interviews? That's my lunch break time. I'll tell me it's time to finish. But yeah, just please let me know. Always open for suggestions. And that's it for me. See you next week. Ta-ra.